Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shanquilla or Shanquilla Carter, One Vision Ministry. Today I want to speak on our angry ancestors, but also want to give the suggestion to be angry, but sin not. So I see a lot of folks out here angry. Sometimes I'm even angry. People, they tell me, oh, you vent too much, which at times I do. But I think sometimes people don't get that when you put too much pressure on a pipe, it's likely to burst. So venting a little bit to me is therapeutic. Maybe it's not as productive. I don't know. Some people don't view it as such, but anger is definitely something that is part of the natural experience. And many, as if they don't get angry. I want to speak on our ancestors and show some times that they got angry. Some of the times they sinned, but some of the times they did not. But let's go into this. Let me get on with my prayer and then let's go. Abba Yah, I thank you for this Shabbat. I thank you for this opportunity to come forth with an open heart. I'm not operating in anger. I'm not venting, but I want to share a word. May I be used by you. Allow your Ruach to guide and direct me. Though this is something that I prepared, maybe I can learn something from this, which I try to learn from all my messages. But if someone else is able to hear from this, let the seed be sown and let them come to you for an answer. I thank you for the Shabbat. I thank you for this opportunity. And I thank you for all that listen. Hallelujah. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to get ready to share my screen. And I'll start off right here. Psalms 145, or I think it's Tehillim, but this is Het or Chet. It says, Yahuwah is gracious and full of compassion, slow to anger, and of great mercy. This is verse 8, or listed as verse 8. So I want to read, of course, from the TS 2009, my favorite to use. Yahuwah shows favor and is compassionate, patient, and great in loving commitment. So, for a foundation, I want to show how Yah is gracious, full of compassion, slow to anger, and great and of great mercy. So it clearly states that there is anger there, that there can be anger there. Seeing that we are created in his image, how would we not have moments of anger? But how do we handle that? That's the question. And that is, what we're dealing with. Let me go to my next text. Koheleth or Ecclesiastes 7. What is listed as verse 9, it says, do not be hasty in your spirit or your ruach to be vexed or angry, for anger or vexation rest in the bosom of fools. This is why, I honestly say venting, letting some of it out. We got to have some better means. Sometimes I've been out by playing on a video game and getting out some frustration there. Some people exercise. I used to be one of those that did that, but it's cold. I'm going to actually be honest and say that I've been lazy and have not been exercising like that. Some people cook. You got to find something that is not going to also negatively affect you or those around you. You don't want to be doing something that is going to get you in worse problems than the initial situation that you're in. Okay. So Tehillim or Psalms 37, this would be hey, but it is, this is not a part of what's supposed to be read, but it's a number or anyway, let's go. It says abstain from displeasure and forsake wrath, forsake anger. Do not fret also to do evil. So this is kind of leading me to where I want to go. I like to start off with the Tanakh and the Torah. Even though my main focus or text is going to really be coming out of the Brit Hadashah. So let's go to the next one. Psalms. I'm going to use the KJV, and it says, "Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still." And we see it, it basically footnotes or was, as we call it, it gives a line upon line, precept upon precept to go to Ephesians 4:26. So that's where I want to go. And so I've highlighted it right here. And it says, "Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath." Many have read it like that, so I still want to go with my TS 2009. Be wroth. Wrath means anger, but do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your rage, your anger again. Let me come out of here for a minute. So, so many things in life can make you angry. Your family relationships, your relationships with people, um, your relationships, I guess, at work, relationships in ministry, just so many different things can actually make you angry. But how do you respond? So last night at work, a young man that I've been playing pool with, nice young man, he is training up and he's working as a construction worker and stuff like that. So I'm sure he's used to difficult conversation, um, hearing people cursing or arguing and stuff like that. And so this other young man who's a little effeminate, I don't know what the argument, I wasn't there, but they both allowed themselves to get out of themselves. And the argument turned to something more. And it's like, man, people do say sticks and stones may hurt you, but words won't. And I'm one that say that no, that's not true. I've been lied upon and stuff like that, false accusations, due to relationships and stuff, and it hurt. I would have rather the person had struck me personally. So words do hurt, but we have to also look at the results that can happen when we do get to physical situations, what we can lose, what we stand to lose. If I do something right now to someone, I'm a bigger guy. I used to get bullied and stuff. And if I respond like in high school or, if I would have responded or whatever, it's just been a fight and maybe we got kicked out of school. Now you have to risk going to jail, losing your occupation and stuff like that. And if you have responsibilities, that's a little bit more of a risk to take. You know, if you're locked up, you can't pay your bills. If you're locked up, you can't protect your family. So it's a many times I've let words just fly over my head because for one, I have more important things to tend to. than my ego. Yes, I've won that basically since I've been bullied in the past said, oh, I won't accept that. But sometimes I have to make the choice to not let my anger get the better of me. And I'm 52, finna be 53, and I think I've done that pretty well, seeing that, people give me reason to be angry. And now that I'm this big guy or whatever and stuff like that, people look at it, even if I'm the one to be struck first, if I respond back, I would be the bad guy because I'm so big. Ignoring the hand that came towards me first, I would be the one in the wrong in many people's eyes because they don't see the first hit. They only see the response. A lot of times when I'm posting stuff online, people say, oh, I can tell something's happened. And it may be a vent, but I, I guess I don't go nuclear, which it could happen. But I try to have self control because I know that I represent Yah. When we represent something greater than us, we have to put our ego on the back burner, and it does not always look good. I'm a failed person. I'm not perfect, and I'm not making any excuses. I'm definitely trying to get better. I'm trying to be better me. I'm competing with me, so I know I have flaws, and I don't mind people sharing that they see my flaws because then I can work those things out. But a lot of times, people only tell me things again when I've disappointed them or they're angry with me. They won't tell me in the need or in the time of frame of it happening so that I could correct whatever's the problem. And that's probably true of others. They probably have that same situation. So let's keep going because I got a lot to go. Sharing my screen again. All right. So I'm going to read a story here, biblical story, and it's going to show how anger manifested off of something that basically it was a rightful anger, but how it was handled, not gonna say that was rightful. But again, it's in the text. Bereshit or Genesis 34. It says, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, whom she had born to Yaakov, went out to see the daughters of the land. And Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the land, saw her and took her and lay with her. And he humbled her. And his being clung to Dinah, the daughter of Yaakov, and he loved the daughter and spoke kindly to the girl. And Shechem spoke to his father Hamor, saying, take this girl for a wife. Now he already laid with her, but saying take her for me a wife. So he was infatuated, and it sounds like she was beguiled and into him a little bit too, but she wasn't given to him, which would have been proper, etiquette, I guess you could say. Israel gives away their daughters. They don't, they're not supposed to be taken. But they probably wouldn't have given to Shechem anyway because he was of a foreign land. But let's keep going. And Yaakov heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his livestock in the field. So Yaakov kept silent until they came. I'm pretty sure he was angry, but he didn't let it spill out. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out to speak to Yaakov, to Yaakov, to speak with him. And the sons of Yaakov came in from the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved and very wroth. They were very angry because he had done a senseless deed in Israel by lying with Yaakov's daughter, which should not be done. Again, another nation being with Israel, we dwelt amongst each other. But Hamor spoke with them, saying, my son Shechem's being his being longs for your daughter. Please give her to him for a wife, and intermarry with us. Give us your daughters, and take our daughters for yourselves, and dwell with us, and let the land be before you. Dwell and move about in it, and have possessions in it. And Shechem said to her father and her brothers, let me find favor in your eyes, and whatever you say to me, I give. Ask of me a bride price, and gift ever so high, and I give according to what you say to me, but give me the girl for a wife. But the sons of Yaakub answered Shechem and Hamor his father, and spoke with deceit, because he had defiled Dinah their sister. And they said to them, we are not able to do this matter to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for that would be a reproach to us. So this uncircumcised man had laid with their sister. Only on this condition will we agree to you, if you become as we are, to have every male of you circumcised. Then we shall give our daughters to you, and take your daughters to us, and we shall dwell with you, and you shall become one people, and dwell with you, and shall become one people. But if you do not listen to us and be circumcised, we shall take our daughter and go. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young man did not delay to do this, because he delighted in Yaakub's daughter. Now he was more respected than all the household of his father. So though he took this woman and did what he did, he was operating in honor. He's like, I'm gonna do whatever it is to have her. I think a lot of folks would probably be, like, man, he's doing everything to get my daughter. But still, let's keep going. And Hamor and Shechem, his son, came to the gate of their city and spoke with the men of their city, saying, these men are at peace with us. So let them dwell in the land and move about in it. And see, the land is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters for us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only on the condition would the men agree to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us is circumcised as they are circumcised. Their herds and their possessions and all their beasts, should they not be ours? Only let us agree with them, and let them dwell with us. So they convinced the people to go along. And all who went out of the gate of the city listened to Hamor and Shechem, his son. Every male was circumcised. All who went out of the gate of his city. All. And it came to be on the third day. It's something about third day in this Bible, boy. But anyway, when they were in pain, that two of the sons of Yaakub, Shimon, many of us know him as Simeon, and Levi or Louis, many of us know as Levi, Dinah's brothers, each took his sword and came boldly upon the city and killed all the males, killed them all. And they killed Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah from Shechem's house and went out. The sons of Yaakub came upon the slain and plundered the city, because they had defiled their sister. They took their flocks and their herds and their donkeys, and that which was in the city, and that which was in the field, and all their wealth, and all their little ones, and their wives they took captive, and they plundered all that was in the houses. And Yaakub said to Shimon and Levi, you have troubled me by making me a stench among the inhabitants of the land, among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I am few in number. They shall gather themselves against me, and shall strike me, and I shall be destroyed, my household and I. But they should not. But but they said, should he treat our sister like a whore? Hmm. Should you treat our sister like a whore? See, these brothers were angry, so angry that they did sin. But maybe was it a sin though? Because sin is a transgression of the Torah or the instruction of Yah, and they weren't supposed to lay or be lay, let their women be given over to other nations. So did they sin? But it did say one thing, key word. They used deceit. They lied. That is a problem. Lying is a problem. So lying is a sin. Is there a law against lying? I do believe so. I do believe so. So again, that's one story where anger basically resulted in sinning. And so I will call it sinning. Maybe if I'm in error, somebody please, give me a response and let me know I'm in error and stuff like that. But I believe that deception is a lie. A lie is a sin. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Sharing the screen again and get back into it. So, got another story for you. Bimidbar, Numbers 20. And the children of Israel, all the congregation came into the wilderness of Sin in the first new moon, and the people stayed in Kadesh. And Miriam died there and was buried there. Now there was no water for the congregation, and they assembled against Moshe and against Aharon. So again, it was another time before that they complained about no water, and Aaron was told to strike the rock, which he did. He was obedient to Yah. But let's keep going. And the people contended with Moshe and spoke, saying, if only we had died when our brothers died before Yahuwah. Why have you brought up the assembly of Yahuwah into the wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here? He did it because Yah told him to. He was being obedient to Yah. And why have you brought us up out of Mizraim to bring us to this evil place? Not a place of grain or figs or vines or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink. Okay, they're traveling. They're not at their destination. They're following the directions. So they're not at their destinations. So they're going through a desert or a wilderness or whatever, but they haven't got to their destination. So they're complaining as if he's at the final place that they're supposed to be at. They're not there yet. So then Moshe and Aaron went from the presence of the assembly to the door of the tent of appointment, and they fell on their faces. And the esteem of Yahuwah appeared to them. These people were worrying the bejesus. They getting on Moses and Aaron's nerves. They worrying them. They're bothering them. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, take the rod and assemble the congregation. Remember, before he was told to smote the rock or hit the rock, but this is take the rod and assemble the congregation, you and your brother Aaron, and you shall speak to the rock before their eyes, and it shall give its water. He didn't say nothing about hitting it. He had hit it before, but this is a new direction. It's not the same as before. But these people are complaining as before. And you shall bring water for them out of the rock and give drink to the congregation and their livestock. Again, he says, you shall speak to the rock. And Moshe took the rod before Yahuwah as he commanded him. He's doing what he's told. Then what? And Moshe and Aaron assembled the assembly before the rock. And he said to them, hear now, you rebels. That sounds like attitude. I'm one that good would have an attitude, and I'm a sarcastic person or something. So yeah, here now, you rebels. Shall we bring water from you out of this rock? Y'all told him that that's what he was going to do, but he's talking to them with a firmness, or sounds like anger to me. Again, maybe I'm inserting my own thoughts in here. But here now, you rebels. Shall we bring water for you out of this rock? Then Moshe lifted his hand, but he was told to what? Speak to the rock. And he struck the rock twice with the rod. That's what he was told to do. He up to this point he had did everything he was commanded, but now instead of speaking to the rock, he hit it twice. And much water came out, and the congregation and their livestock drank. I don't see anywhere where he told them to scold them, talk harshly to them. I didn't see that. He told them to basically speak to the rock, but he's speaking to them, calling them rebels. And now he's striking the rock, and basically they're getting water. But Yahweh spoke to Moshe and to Aaron, because you did not believe me. He gave him a directive, he gave him an instruction, because you did not believe me. So where did they not believe him? Oh, when they didn't do what he told them to do, to set me apart in the eyes of the children of Israel. Therefore, you do not bring this assembly into the land which I have given you. Uh-oh. They done made Yah angry. If he would have followed the directions how they were given, it would have gave honor to Yah. It would have set him apart before the people. But yet he want to call them rebels, and he want to, smoke the rock. He want to hit the rock instead of speak to him. Sounds like he was venting a little bit too much to me. That's how I'm taking it. These were the waters of Meribah, because the children of Israel contended with Yahuwah, and he was set apart among them. So, though they were complaining to Moses and Aharon, Moshe and Aharon, they really were contending with Yahuwah. And the first time, yes, he told Moses to strike the rock, but this time he wanted them to speak, because he didn't want no action of Moses to bring forth. Only his speaking would have been enough, because that right there would show that it was Yah doing it all. But his action of hitting the rock makes it look like he did it. That's how I'm taking it. And thus, it didn't give the glory to Yah. So now they won't get to see the glory. They get to see it. Moses got to see it, but he didn't get to enter in or walk into that land. Not saying he didn't get to walk into forever, but he didn't get to walk into the land that they were promised. And Moshe sent messengers from Kadesh to the sovereign of Edom. This is what your brother Israel said. You know all the hardship that has befallen us, that our fathers went down to Mizraim, and we dwelt in Mizraim a long time, and the Mizraimites did evil to us and our fathers. Yeah, I don't even need to read the rest of this. That is a whole another narrative. My point basically was already addressed in dealing with Moshe. His anger caused him to not obey Yah. If transgressions of the law or transgression of the Torah, transgression of the instructions of Yah is a sin, Moshe went against the instructions of Yah directly. He was in sin. And in that, he lost access into the land that he was promised to carry the people. His leadership had to be converted over. Though him and Aaron was a team, a dynamic duo, Yahushua basically the one who he had laid his hands upon and prayed, the next leader, the one that would hear the voice of Yah and move. Yes, Yahushua. Yes, Yahushua. All right, let me get back. Got another story. You know, I'm just reading the Bible. As they say, reading the Bible. And hopefully, you're following along with me. All right. Malachim Aleph, 1 Kings 18. And after many days, it came to be that the word of Yahuwah came to Eliyahu in the third year, saying, Go present yourself to Ahab, and I give rain on the earth. Therefore Eliyahu went to present himself to Ahab. And the scarcity of food in Shamaron or Samaria was severe. And Ahab had called Obadiah is what we know him as. Another prophet who wrote, a minor prophet who wrote one of the books in the Bible, who was over his house. Now Obadiah feared Yahuwah exceedingly. And it came to be while Isabel, we know her as Jezebel, but Isabel cut down the prophets of Yahuwah. She was killing the prophets. That Obadiah had taken 100 prophets and hidden them, 50 to a cave, and had fed them with bread and water. So that's a lot of prophets right there of Yah being hidden, and Obadiah is key to doing that. And Ahab has said to Obadiah, Go into the land to all the springs of water and to all the wadis. It could be that we find grass to feed the horses and mules alive and not have livestock cut off. And they divided the land between them to pass over it. Ahab went one way by himself, and Obadiah went another way by himself. And as Obadiah was on his way, did he then see Eliyahu? We call him Elijah. Met him, and he recognized him and fell on his face and said, Is that you, my master, Eliyahu? So one prophet and Obadiah recognized another prophet, but Eliyahu didn't recognize Obadiah as a prophet. But let's keep going. And he answered him, It is, I go. It is I. Sorry, I'm not reading right. It is I. Go, say to your master, Eliyahu is here. And he said, What have I seen? That you are giving your servant into the hand of Ahab to kill me? So basically, like if I go tell him this, this is going to be a problem for me. And then he said, As Yahuwah, your Elohim lives, there is no nation or reign where my master has not sent to look for you. This is Obadiah saying this. And when they said he is not here, he made the reign or nation swear that they could not find you. And now you say, Go, say to your master Eliyahu is here. And it shall be as soon as I am gone from you, that the Ruach or the spirit of Yahuwah takes you away to a place I do not know. And I shall come to report to Ahab, and when he does not find you, he shall kill me. But I, your servant, have feared Yahuwah from my youth. Was it not reported to my master what I did when Isabel killed the prophets of Yahuwah, how I hid 100 men of the prophets of Yahuwah, 50 to a cave, and fed them with bread and water? And now you say, Go to your master, Eliyahu is here, then he shall kill me. And Eliyahu said, As Yahuwah of hosts lives, before whom I stand, I shall indeed show myself to him today. Obadiah then went to meet Ahab and informed him, and Ahab went to meet Eliyahu. And it came to be, when Ahab saw Eliyahu, that Ahab said to him, "Is that you, O disturber of Israel?" And he answered, "I have not disturbed Israel, but you and your father's house, in that you have forsaken the commands or the instructions or the Torah of Yahuwah, and you have followed the Baals." That word Lord means Baal. I try to tell people not to be saying that, but they keep on saying it. But anyway, Baal, look up Baal and you'll see Lord. "And now send and gather all Israel to me on Mount Carmel, the 450 prophets of Baal and the 400 prophets of Asherah who eat at Isabel's table." Ahab then sent for all the children of Israel and gathered the prophets on Mount Carmel. And Eliyahu came to all the people and said, "How long would you keep hopping between two opinions?" This man is a little frustrated. I would say he's angry. If Yahuwah is Elohim, follow him. And if Baal, follow him. But the people answered him not a word. And Eliyahu said to the people, "I alone am left a prophet of Yahuwah, but the prophets of Baal are 450 men." Again, he just got through dealing with Obadiah. He ain't left alone. And Obadiah has said 50. So he ain't left alone. But again, at this moment, he's standing alone, I guess so you could say. But again, this man seems to be venting to me. But it says, "Now let them give us 2 bulls, and let them choose 1 bull for themselves, and cut it in pieces, and lay it on the wood, but set no fire. And I prepare the other bull, and shall lay it on wood, but set no fire. And you shall call on the name of your mighty one, and I call on the name of Yahuwah, and the Elohim who answers by fire, he is Elohim." So all the people answered and said, "The word is good." And Eliyahu said to the prophets of Baal, "Choose 1 bull for yourselves and prepare it first, for you are many, and call on the name of your mighty one, but set no fire." So they took the bull which was given them and prepared it, and called on the name of Baal from morning until noon, saying, "O Baal, answer us." But there was no voice, and no one answered. And they leaped about the slaughter place which they had made. And it came to be at noon that Eliyahu taunted them and said, "Cry aloud, for he is a mighty one. He is meditating, he is meditating, or he is busy, or he is on a journey, or it could be that he is asleep and has to be awakened." He's being sarcastic. He's basically, messing with them. He taunting them big time. And they cried aloud and cut themselves according to their ruling with knives and spears until the blood gushed out on them. And it came to be when midday was past that they prophesied until the time of bringing the evening offering. But there was no voice, and no one answered, and no one paying attention. Then Eliyahu said to all the people, "Come closer to me." And all the people came closer to him, and he repaired the slaughter place of Yahuwah that was broken down. And Eliyahu took 12 stones, 12 tribes, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Yaqub, 12 sticks, to whom the word of Yahuwah had come, saying, "Israel is your name." And when the stones, with the stones, he built a slaughter place in the name of Yahuwah, and he made a trench around the slaughter place large enough to hold 2 seas, excuse me, 2 seas of seed. And he arranged the wood and cut the bull in pieces and laid it on the wood and said, "Fill 4 jars with water and pour it on the ascending offering and on the wood. And then he said, do it a second time. And they did it a second time. And he said, do it a third time. And they did it a third time. And the water flowed around the slaughter place. And he filled the trench with water too. And it came to be at the time of bringing the evening offering that Eliyahu, the prophet, came near and said, Yahuwah, Elohim of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Israel, let it be known today you are Elohim in Israel, and I, your servant, have done all these matters by your word. Answer me, O Yahuwah, answer me, and let this people know that you are Yahuwah Elohim, and you shall turn their hearts back to you again. Then the fire of Yahuwah fell and consumed the ascending offering, and the wood and the stones and the dust, and it licked up the water that was in the trench. All the water was gone. And all the people saw and fell on their faces and said, Yahuwah, he is the Elohim. Yahuwah, he is the Elohim. And Eliyahu said to them, seize the prophets of Baal. Do not let one of them escape. See, that's that righteous anger. He let it be known. No, don't let none of them escape. So they seized them. And Eliyahu brought them down to the Wadi Kushan and slew them there. He killed them all. And Eliyahu said to Ahab, go up, eat and drink, because of the sound of the noise of rain. And Ahab went up to eat and drink, and Eliyahu went to the top of Carmel, and he bowed down on the ground and put his face between his knees and said to his servants, go up, please, look. So I'm going to stop right there. I am hit what I needed to hit. Man, my eyes starting to water. I hit what I need to hit. So, as you see, Elijah, Eliyahu, he seen himself as a loner, getting tired of being chased around by Ahab, tired of the prophets of Baal. He called them out, and his righteous anger, he let Yah show up. Yah showed up and showed out, and then what did he do? Afterwards, he killed all of them monks. I don't say that was sin. He was handing out judgment. If you basically giving love over to other deities, the commandments say you that's worthy of death. And that prophet brought forth the death. He handled that business. He kept the law. Yes, he did. But his anger, it didn't bring about sin. It brought forth correction. It cleaned up some stuff. All right, I ain't done. I know, long-winded. I ain't done though. All right, I wanna I wanna talk on Elijah. Elisha or Elisha is Eliyahu's disciple. So let me go there next. Let me go there next. I'm not gonna read the whole thing on this. I'm gonna just go to a little brief blurb. And this topic has been talked about lately on social media, and people don't agree with it, but it's pretty interesting. So we're gonna go with Malachim Bet or 2 Kings 2. Start off with what is called verse 19, and it says, and the men of the city said to Elisha, look, the sight of this city is good, as my master sees, but the waters are spoiled, and the soil barren. And he said, bring me a new bowl and put salt in it. And they brought it to him. And he went out to the source of the water and threw salt in there and said, thus says Yahuwah, I have healed this water. No longer shall death or barrenness come from it. And the waters were healed to this day, according to the word of Elisha, which he spoke. And he went from there to Bethel. And as he was going up the way, some youths Doesn't say children, it said youths, but it could be children. I believe it were teenagers. Came from the city and mocked him and said to him, "Go up, bald head, go up, bald head." So mm, they spoke ill of his bald head, I guess. You know, it's some people that teach that a bald head is a sin, but this was a prophet who had a bald head. It was not a sin. But these are youth speaking to an elder and also a man of Yah. They mocking him. And so this man, this prophet, he turned around and looked at them and pronounced a curse. This is what a real curse is. The words shit is not really a curse. That's just a word that means feces and dung. I know it offends so many people, but a curse is what he did. He pronounced a curse. When you say something that you want a result from, and right here, y'all back this curse. This is not a bad curse. So let's go. What the curse is on them in the name of Yahuwah, because he used the name of Yahuwah. And two female bears came out of the forest and tore to pieces 42 of the youth. And from there he went to Mount Carmel, and from there he returned to Shamaran. This was still a man of Yah, and them basically speaking ill of him, mocking him about his bald head, got them ate up by bears. They learned not to touch the anointed of Yah. All right, let me keep going. All right, and another blurb. Okay, so Shaphatim or Judges 14. Shimson is the same as Samson, and we know him as Samson. So we're gonna go 14 verse, starting at what they call verse 12, and it says that Shimson said to them, "Please let me put forth a riddle to you. If you clearly solve and explain it to me within 7 days of the feast, then I shall give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of garments. But if you are unable to explain it to me, then you shall give me 30 linen shirts and 30 changes of garments." And they said to him, "Put forth your riddle, and let us hear it." And he said to them, "Out of the eater came forth food, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. And for 3 days, they're going to 3 days again, they were unable to explain the riddle. And it came to be on the seventh day, that they said to Shimson's wife, 'Entice your husband to explain the riddle to us, or else we burn you and your father's house with fire. Have you invited us in order to take what is ours? Is it not?' And Shimson's wife wept before him and said, 'You only hate me and do not love me. You have put forth a riddle to the sons of my people, but you have not explained it to me.' And he said to her, 'Look, I have not explained it to my father or my mother, and and should I explain it to you?' And she had wept before him and the 7 days while their feast lasted." It was during a feast, huh? "And it came to be on the seventh day that he informed her because she pressed him so much. She then explained the riddle to the sons of her people. And the men of the city said to him on the seventh day, before the sun went down, 'What is sweeter than honey? And what is stronger than a lion?' And he said to them, 'If you had not plowed with my heifer,'" he talking about mess with his wife, "you would not have solved my riddle." Then the Ruach of Yahuwah came upon him mightily. So the Ruach came upon him. This man was angry when he said that. He was mad. But the Ruach came upon him mightily. So he angry, but the Ruach came upon him mightily, and he went down to Ashkelon and struck 30 of their men, stripped them, and gave the changes of garments to them who had explained the riddle, and his displeasure burned. His anger burned, and he went back into his father's house, and Shimson's wife was given to his companion, who had been his friend. So again, righteous anger. So if the Ruach is with him, he wasn't sinning. He was angry. He didn't sin. So you can be angry and not sin. But let me keep going. I'm gonna finish this off with this one. Yohanan or John 2. And the Pesach, going to start at what's called verse 13. And the Pesach, Passover, Pesach, of the Yahudim was near, and Yahusha went up to Jerusalem. And he found in the set apart place those selling oxen and sheep and doves, and the money changers sitting. And having made a whip of cords, he drove them out of the set apart place with the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the money changers' coins, and overturned the tables. And he said to those selling doves, take these away. That sounds like anger. Do not make the house of my father a house of merchandise. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So even Yahusha got angry and put it to action, and it was not sin. Every act of anger is not sin. Every act of anger is not sin. It's wise to be slow to anger. But some people think anger in general is a sin. They think that, venting is a sin. There were many acts that were carried out because of anger, and they were not listed as sin. They were not transgressing y'all's law. You need to, when somebody does something in anger, maybe you need to pray and ask, Yah, is this your hand? Is this your hand moving? Is this something that you've allowed before you judge the person, before you get upset with the situation that's going forth? Especially if it's not involving you. Why be an impartial judge? I mean, a partial judge, not an impartial. Impartial, you should be impartial. But why be a partial judge? Basically, you've chosen a side in a matter that you have no true understanding. You're being a respecter of person. If you don't know what's going on, shut up. Maybe I ain't telling you to shut up. I'm not telling you, but maybe it'd be wisdom to shut up. Why are you making an assessment of a situation that is not your situation, especially without knowing the whole matter? It says, I don't know, one of the texts I think says, that you should know the whole matter. I don't know. I don't know. I had to find that, know the conclusion of the whole matter or whatever. But a lot of times people take sides, and me myself, I know for a fact that a lot of times people only see the response. They don't see the initial strike. They don't see when somebody has done something to somebody. They just see their response, and they judge that, and they want to say what level that it should happen. I guess when those young children or youth was talking against the prophet, you could say, "Oh man, them bears eating them up. That's too much." Who is the judge of it's too much? If Yah's name was used and that's what sent forth the bears to do that, Yah wasn't. Yah didn't have a problem with it. You have a problem with it. You didn't even, people. Oh, the bears ate up the young people. But why? What was the hit? What happened? What was the first or the initial strike that occurred? Sometimes we need to shut our mouths. I don't care if the person that's being so-called attacked is who we respect. We might want to talk to Yah and find out, is this move of you? Stop being partial. Stop judging according to your own feelings or what you think you know. You know, we keep seeing these type of things that are brought before us, and all they do is divide us. The big talk is, oh, Kendrick and Drake, and people are choosing sides, don't even know that whole story. We will never know all of it. Honestly, I don't care. That ain't for me to care about. But I do care about all of this issue that's going on in Israel. I'm like, man, this thing is more divided than when I was in Christianity. I'm like, man, what's the difference? What's the difference? And again, the purpose of this whole thing was to show that, you can be angry, but sin not. Be slow to anger, yes, sin not. But those that are judging the matter, you might want to really figure out if it's really sin. Because what we've labeled sin or learned from Christianity as sin is not sin. Transgression of the law or going against Yah's command. That's what sin is. And there's many times that Yah has said, destroy. He said, do this. When Yahusha went through with the money changers, was that a problem? Even with Simeon and Levi, no, Levi ended up being the priesthood after that. So, it's like, man, my thoughts is, oh, they deceived and they wrong. But I'm not the final authority here. So okay, have your opinion, but I'm not here to influence nobody's opinion. I'm not gonna say, well, they were wrong, and try to, you know, have people join in with me to say that they were wrong. My opinion is they were wrong, but what was Yah's opinion? Yah ended up using Levi to be priesthood. So if he was so wrong and so evil or whatever, why would he choose them? I got to watch my steps so that I don't cross the line with Yah, trying to have my own opinion. I have an opinion, but my opinion is the last thing that matters when it dealing with Yah. I share my opinion all the time, but if Yah says that's wrong, then I'm wrong. Period. There's not even no debate, no haggling or whatever. I'm wrong. Period. There's no debate. I can't argue with Yah. Yah is my master, my father. I don't have no qualms with Yah whatsoever. If he says it, I'm with it. Period. Abiyah, thank you for the Shabbat. I thank you for this opportunity. I'm not in anger. Hopefully nobody's in angry with me. If they are, maybe they could, seek to restore and deal with that. Bring forth my fault to me and allow me the opportunity to amend it. If they're offended by me in any way, let them come to me and let me address that. But this secret anger and secret hostility towards me or whatever, let it cease. Let it stop. I've tried to confront or talk to people directly that I've had issues with, and they've rejected my conversation. Not much I can do with that. May I be able to just even quell that fire in me and move on. If they don't want to hear me, they don't want to allow me opportunity to plead my case, so be it. Let my person and my being give honor towards you and not be so focused on what others are doing, and let me be in my lane and do your will according to your will and purposes towards this earth so that your kingdom can be within me, around me, and everything that I do. I thank you, Yah, for the Shabbat. Thank you for my household. And thank you for allowing me to not, I guess, act on all of the anger that I've had. You've worked me and keep working with me to become a better me day by day. I thank you. So be it. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom. One Vision Ministry. Shankuya.